Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Janice.
Thank you. Good morning to you
Hi,
and everyone
everybody.
out there. Yeah.
It's Kate Richford and Janice Parsons
Yep.
live from beadshop.com.
Yep.
It's Facebook Wednesday,
It is.
our favorite day of the week.
It is.
It is
I
true.
love Wednesday.
I know. You were a busy bee before the broadcast.
I've been a busy bee for about 35 years.
Yeah, well, especially these past few weeks. But
Yes.
you have laid out.
I'm going to pan.
Oh, yes, please do. And Gracie, of course, we're in front of the camera, but we've got our Grace behind the camera. And we are going to be doing some great things today. You have laid out our table like it's a
Yes.
holiday feast.
Like it's our art studio.
I know.
Yes.
We're
We're in our art studio,
It's so
Katie.
exciting. I
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
So today we are really excited about what we're going to be
Yes.
doing. We're excited every Wednesday. But you guys, we are bringing back a stringing material that both Janice and I love to use.
Mhm.
We've used it for a long time. We used it at the bead shop when it first came out, which is our Softflex beading wire. And Softflex, we started carrying it really early on.
Well, I think we
When
were one
Mike
of the
and Scott-
first.
yeah.
Yes, they were just starting.
They came into our store in
Yep.
Palo Alto
Yep.
and sold us their little rolls of Softflex,
Right.
which was really cool. And it kind of replaced the kind of generic tiger tail. And
we
was
were
really,
so excited when it came in bronze.
right?
Like,
Oh, bronze
oh,
was
wow.
like, yeah, it was like the heavens opened. Yes, Gracie, we have some.
Softflex says hello. Good morning.
Hi,
Yes.
good morning, you guys.
Yeah.
Well, we're really stoked to be featuring you guys today, along with our great 4-in-1 crimper from Xuron, which is also going to be awesome. We're going to show you some basics on crimping, and we also,
I can hear them in Santa Rosa, Softflex in Santa Rosa
Yeah.
going, what
Or
took you
yeah,
so
Sonoma,
long?
yeah, Sonoma.
What took you so long?
Right?
I know, like, where have we just went thread
Right.
after we closed the store.
I never left you Softflex.
And I just was so busy with
I know,
thread
with
and
thread.
laddering
I
and
know.
wrap bracelets and leather. And
But
then
it opens a whole new.
you came back and you said, wait a second.
Where's our Softflex?
Where's our Softflex? And I'm going, what do we need Softflex for? And then we got it in, and I cannot stop.
You can't stop stringing.
And it's like, oh wait, you can go in and out of the donut. Then you can do this. Then you can do your lanes. Then you could. I just
know,
like
it's-
everybody out there, guys.
Guys, hey
I'm
guys.
having the best time.
That's stringing time. So what are people saying out there, Gracie Grace?
I just wanted to say that we got
Yeah.
a few happy birthdays for Janice.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
It's your birthday week.
And
yes.
happy Mother's Day. Happy
Right.
Mother's Day almost.
Yes, Mother's Day is coming up this Saturday.
And it's
or
also
Sunday.
Jeannie's daughter's birthday today.
Oh,
So she's celebrating with her in
happy
Alaska.
birthday, Jeannie's daughter.
Oh,
You're a
that's
Taurus.
Yes.
You gave birth, Jeannie, to a Taurus. She must be a tough,
Amazing.
kind, creative,
Amazing.
beautiful, amazing
Funny.
person. Funny.
Funny.
Smart.
Yeah.
You guys sound smart.
Right, we've
Yeah,
got
smart.
Smart.
Yes.
You're super smart.
Yes.
Well,
I'm
wanted
sorry.
to...
I can't stop
Yeah,
stringing.
oh, you
so
keep stringing.
you just like keep talking. Okay.
All right. I'm going
I
to talk,
have,
you
I
string.
have like I want to string
Worky-talkie, like my friend Mary
Yes.
says. Worky-talkie, worky-talkie.
You guys, we have so many questions coming our way, so I'm going
Yes.
to try and get to
Okay.
them. But we are asked already about the diameter of Softflex, if we carry other
Yes.
different things. So maybe we can just answer all of these Softflex questions in a
Yes.
bit, because there's so many comments
Yes.
today, you guys.
So you
Okay,
guys, what we're
great.
going to do, we've got a couple things, because we are packing so much into this episode. I have a couple of little house cleaning things to do, and then... Housekeeping.
And not house cleaning.
Well, whatever, cleaning.
It's almost Mother's Day. We're not cleaning house.
We're not. I've got a couple things to share with you, and then we're going to jump in and just share all kinds of stuff. Yep, Gracie.
Just
please.
really quick before
Yeah.
we continue, Kristen from Softflex also wishes you a happy birthday, Janice.
Oh, thank you, Kristen.
Kristen from Softflex.
Yep.
And give a big bead shop hello to all at Softflex and all at Xuron. A special shout out to Mike and
Yes.
Scott from Softflex,
Yes.
who were really pioneers in this field. So we love you guys. Love
They
love you, love
created
you.
an amazing product.
Yeah, it's a great product. So let me share just real quick. We've got the bead retreat coming up, Janice.
Yes.
Janice and I and Emily have been working on
Emily
some
is here.
great
Hi,
things.
Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Hello.
She's way over there, working on the bead retreat as we speak. the first day for signups for the retreat, signups open on May 15th. So it'll go out in a newsletter. They'll be up on the website at about noon, and all of the info and everything will be out there. So we're super excited about that.
We are.
We can't wait. And the date is September 15th through 17th of this year, 2017, down in San Juan Bautista, California. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. Then we have a quick question from Donna from Canada, and she was asking about how to transition from a bracelet section when she's doing the infinity stitch. Now, you had the bracelet sitting here somewhere. Are you wearing it?
Here. Yeah, right here.
There it is.
Right
So when we're laddering, and this is a whole different ball of wax, but Donna, I wanted to make sure that you saw this. This is from our Stitches in Time project, Donna. And this was the infinity stitch that we did with this laddering. Our transitions that we used underneath here when we tied our knots, we covered those with a pony bead. But you can really, it's just, the transitions are the same whether you ladder in infinity style, whether you ladder in traditional style. Either find a bead that has a large hole, and underneath where you're going to transition, you'll tie off one thread or add your other thread, tie off this thread over the top. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But if you go to our Stitches in Time, and I've got it pulled up right here, or Simple Stitches in Time, I've got it pulled up right here, Gracie Grace. You can see it's under our Projects tab, and I went to Simple Stitches in Time, and then it's the 3 projects that we did for our friend Nicole. If I click on Beauty, I was showing the other one, but I'll click on this one. You can see there's a video that's here, Nicole's original video that she did of that. And then we also have our handout. I clicked on download handout, and Janice did a terrific handout that really talks a lot about how to put it together, how to, I'm scrolling, you can see I'm still scrolling. There's that transitions, how you would stop and start that infinity section there. So that is a great one, Donna, to reference. So I hope that helps. So hello to you, Donna, in Canada.
Yes.
All right, so I'm shutting the computer and we're getting to design.
Yes.
So I want to start out, first, Janice, you have some things that I want you to show design-wise.
I'm busy stringing.
Okay.
I don't have any time.
All right then.
Now, what do you want me to show you?
Well, let's talk a little bit about this kind of sketch a necklace and your design pieces that you have, and then I'm going to break it down into the mechanics, okay? So you and I have 2 different ways that we design. Right? So
At least two different ways.
So I was at your house a while back, and you have necklaces actually decorating everywhere, and I noticed a piece that I recognized from way back in the day, and it was a beautiful strung necklace, and you said, oh, I have a drawing of that, and you just had it kind of cast out on the table there, and you guys, it was so beautiful with watercolor. It was really, really great. So I thought, you know, you really need to share those with our viewers about how you design. So you guys, this, and then I'm going to share with you guys, how I design, which will be a little intimidating after this beautiful piece. But show what you did here. Talk us through.
So
I'm move this out of the way.
I love to paint. I love to sketch and draw. So what I will do to loosen up. This is
so you do this pre-show, pre-string.
Right. Like I will just sketch out maybe some heads, and then when I used to do a lot of designing for clients, and it was often for weddings, I would be concerned with like the neckline. Like, is it a plunging? Is it across, you know, shoulder strapless?
Right.
Is it a square neck? And so what I like to do before I start getting into the actual stringing is I will just sketch, and if I use my watercolors to kind of
look at just those little splotches
of color, you
just
guys, sort of
like, beautiful?
Oh, I want to work in some greens, I want to work in some oranges. whatever it is, and then
Maybe some shape.
Then I pick out some beads, or I have some beads to start with. I go, oh, I want to work with these, and then I'll do these and go, well, what are the variations? I could add some yellow into this palette, and it would look great. And so working with Grace.
So from here, yeah. So, and you've done,
Right.
also I wanted to point out, Gracie, if you saw these guys here, this some interesting silhouettes. And I want you to notice, and you guys, I'm really intimidated by intimidated in a good way. Inspired, maybe, is the right way to put it. Because I am not a drawer or a traditional being able to put things down like this artist. But if you really drill down, you guys, and see how Janice did this, these are just suggestions of little spheres, a suggestion of our butterfly bead, the suggestion of our bugle beads. So even if you feel like I do, oh my gosh, I'm not an illustrator, these are all just suggestions for you to use, and there's no wrong answer here.
No.
This is so inspiring.
Oh, thank you. And these are for you.
Yeah.
These are not, no one's going to come in and go, oh, that's not art, that's not, worthy of
Right.
something. This is just for you to kind of, what I like to think of it is it's a way of loosening up. It's like
Yeah.
getting your tennies on and warming up for
Warming
a
up
walk
before
or
you
something.
run or walk,
That's
yeah.
all this is just, grab like
got our
go to your
pencils.
local store and get some. I like the pencils that are actually watercolor pencils that you can actually, as you shade them,
Kind of shade
you
and
can
edge
take
and
a
stuff,
little
yeah.
water and it makes it kind of.
But this was done with traditional watercolors, is that
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So now what you've done here is you've done this one with colored pencil. I'm
Right.
going to put this
So
one
then
aside. And take a
Grace-
look at this.
Grace helped. We decided we wanted to do a chart, just like a bead chart.
For you guys, yeah.
We thought, well, let's do something
And we'll post the link, you guys, so
Yeah.
you find it, so
Yes.
don't worry.
so that you can download these, and then from this is what I did for. I did one for,
Yeah, I have
for
mine right
yours
here.
too. I did this where, again, I just like the bigger one, and these are just with pencils.
Yeah, you colored that
And then
in.
I put in the different colors that I wanted to work with, from the light blue to the green to the brown to the orange, that represented the beads. So you could
So you
pick
can
your
see,
beads out.
yeah, and so you can see Janice pulled her palette with,
Yeah, I picked the palette and I picked the beads, and all this is really a little exercise in stopping and looking at your color. That's all it is. You could pick your beads first and
And
then
then
do
fill
this,
that in.
or you could say, I want to work in something, look at a color chart, for instance, a color wheel, and then put your things down. But all this is an exercise in helping your mind relax and get creative. That's all this is.
and so what we're
It's like
working
before you
on,
go on the piano,
right?
you do your finger
scales, right?
That's
Get
all
ready.
this is.
So what you did was, and I'm going to have you push this aside.
Okay.
I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm
Sure.
just going to have you. So you just drew this out with your watercolor,
Right.
So we have some watercolor paper just right here,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I don't know. We're just
I'm
like,
just using a regular pencil.
oh, GP.
Can I ask a quick
Yeah,
question?
sure.
Patrice wants to know if you look at the beads you have before you draw.
Yes and no. Like if I would say with something like this, I've already looked at. I know I have a butterfly bead. So, but when I might start and say, okay, like here's the face, and it's a little hard to do it upside down, so I'm going to do it like this. But let's say I have a square neck, right? And I want to do, like, I'll go, okay, I want to do a multiple neck thing like that, and then I want to do something like this, and I want to do a negligee necklace. So negligee necklace is where they kind of fall into your cleavage like this. I'll turn this around. Let's give her a little haircut. And so, like, I might do something like this first, and maybe it's a neckline like this, with straps. I don't know what it looks like from your side. But then I'll go, well, what am I going to do here?
Oh, quick question, Grace.
It's actually not a question. I wanted to interrupt when it was.
Oh.
Zeron shared our video, and thank you. There's 5 other people who shared our video, so thank you.
Really,
Mila.
really appreciate those shares and hellos, you guys. Thank you so much.
So then this might be, well, how am I going to do something like this? Now, if this is that butterfly bead, here's the butterfly bead, and I'm going to have the 2 ends come out the bottom, and then I'm going to come out the top. So this would like go around the neck multiple times, and then it would clasp in back like that. That's one way that I will work something like this out. Or it might be something like this. Here's the butterfly, here's the 2 ends like that, and then these 2 come up here like this. And then do I want it to be, you know, like more formal like this? Do I want this on like on a head pin or something?
Right,
or this is even on the soft flex. This goes
With
back
seed beads.
through seed beads, and then I could take this on and off. But I'm doing all of this sketching. I'm not like worrying about building it yet. I'm just going, you know, I like that idea, but then when I go to the back, how am I going to end it? Am I going to use like an Egyptian clasp that has, you know, multiples? Am I going to bring them all into a large, you know, like
Cone
a crow
or something,
bead,
right?
like I like to do? So this is my like beginning of sketching.
So then if you were going to add let's say that you knew this butterfly bead was going to be green, you would just simply pick up a green and lay some color in, right, from your pencil?
Right, yeah, I would take, I don't have all my pencils here, but yeah, I would just, you know, I would start with this. It's not a really nice green, but I'd go like this, and then I'd go, okay, well, I kind of like that.
Right, so you're just starting to lay
That's
in.
all I'm doing,
Yeah.
and then I'll go, oh, I want to use those bugle beads. Well, this would be a really nice place to put the bugles in. There, then here, and then, okay, I want to get in some, I don't know, let's do, like I love my greens and blues. And so I'll
But see, it's simply, you guys, don't worry about, oh my gosh, I have to color inside the lines and draw my lines perfectly. And you guys totally know where Janice is going with this already, which is great. I think it's amazing. I love it.
So, like for instance, these sea glass donuts. Okay, so I used it one way, you used it another way. I love the soft flex for this, so that I can go in this way and out this way. So where's the one I did? Can you grab it? So that's one way I will look at, well, how could I incorporate that with the butterfly? I'm not even drawing a butterfly, look at that. But I could go, could that go up like this? So here's where I kind of worked out using the soft flex. I could have covered that with beads. And then another way is you've got your butterfly, and then there's the soft flex, and I would do maybe make sure I always put a little bead right after it,
a little tapering bead,
and then maybe a bigger bead, and then there, you want to show us yours the way you did, like
and I'll play
donuts.
around, and we'll also play around a little bit more with how we constructed these, but I do a lot of these kind of intentional repeats and floats. And we'll look at those. Question, Gracie?
Yes. So Patrice, I believe, hold on, let me review. She was asking about whether or not you have the beads because she doesn't want to worry whether or not she has the beads to make the project.
I think that the good thing to do would be to, if you have the beads, don't do this first then. Start, Patrice, with your beads and start your sketch. Put whatever beads out you want. Pick some colored pencils in the colors of the beads. Do your little, go shade it from one to another, so that you kind of like warm up to your colors, you know. So okay, I'm going to use some brown. I don't have that many pencils, so I'm going to, you know, get this a little darker, so it's, you know, so this shades, these are these beads here, the Appalachian Trail, the Red Creek Jasper. Then I'm going to go a little darker, you know, and then I'm gonna go to, let's do a little green on that side, okay? This is the fun thing about color. And then I'll go to that dark green.
Can I just say, Elisa says, between your tips and the process from Softlex Facebook Live last week, she's learning so much about design. She thinks.
Oh, great.
And thank you. I meant to mention this right off the bat, you guys. Thank you so much to Softlex for using our little surprise box and doing a great broadcast from their Facebook channel. It was really, really great.
For being here.
Well,
thank you for being here.
I
And also Zuron. Thank you, Zuron, for being here.
Our Zuron. We love our Zuron.
So
Look at that.
So Patrice, whatever colors, whatever beads you have, take a minute, print one of these out, or make your own little square. Just do on a piece of paper, and take a minute and acknowledge the color of your beads. It helps you to be more mindful and more relaxed.
Relaxed about
color and design.
Quick question, sorry. Whitney wants to know what the reason for coloring half of the box is. And is it to transition it, or is it the way that the bead is? Like,
well, if I had more, so Whitney, if I had more colors, I would add more colors. So it's just like how many boxes.
Whatever.
Use as much as you want. You could use 3 boxes. It's just the notion
and you could put
that
different layered bits of color in each box. Whatever works for you.
And you could, like do a little smiley face of me in the middle.
Right there.
There's
you are.
me.
That's you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share with you guys something that that I do, and I carry mine around in. It's my little bag around. Emily.
Yes.
It's way over there by you, I think. So I am a little. Yeah, that's perfect. I am a little more, thank you. I need to be a little more mobile with my design ideas. And I don't know if it's like, if I'm like you guys, or if you're like me, or something like that. But I sometimes design inspiration hits me like in the morning in the shower, or I don't know, driving home, whatever. I came up with this little way that really works for me. And I start actually without color. I look at, especially like in some of my metalsmithing work that I do, but line and shape is really, really important to me. So what I did was I made these little, I took some index cards, and you can see
how you do this.
These are just little index cards, a 3x5, that look like this, and then I cut it up into little cards like this. And so I cut them in half. I made this I think this is a 3x3 maybe. And then I use the leftovers and I cut them into this little square. I do. I have my ruler that I always have with me. So these are a 2-inch square, and this is a 2x1. So I have 3 little things to work with, and I just got these clips because I like clips, and I put them together. So I use them as my little I call them my little creativity tiles, okay? And the way that I use these, I made them in just some plain. I also got some in black and used my white.
I know you gave
jelly
me
markers,
one, and
right?
I just love it.
I love doing white. So let me show you guys how I use these. Let me see if I have the design even for this ring that I'm wearing. Well, like here, I will just, if I have a design about an earring, and I don't even know what the finished piece is going to be. I don't even know what this bead is, but maybe I'll fabricate some little flowers, or maybe, and I'll just do a quick little sketch. I date it, and then on the back, I'll write any little notes to myself that I might want to remember, okay? I've had this idea floating around in my head for a long time, wire loom, and I just kind of drew it, and I've put it aside, and it'll come back to me, just so I remember. I don't know how to draw a loom, you guys, but whatever, who cares? This is
bracelet ideas.
Bracelet ideas. Things like, I don't know, my just little words that say, may your dreams be as vast as your bead collection. I don't know, just a little quote.
Sayings,
yeah.
I'm so lucky
Oh.
to be working with Janice.
Janice, this is here. I have this one. Life is short. Ain't got time for a dull wire cutter.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
right?
Yeah.
So any of these little things, like this beaded, so this would be like a little cluster earring where I did a round bead and there's a cap and there's some wire wrap
great.
beads here. And so my favorite pens that I use for that, I like skinny pens. This is that Pigma. This is a 1 millimeter. And so it's a super skinny line, so I can do some drawing and stuff with that. I have one that's even skinnier. This is the 0.5, the 0.5. So it allows me to get kind of little fine detail, like if I were drawing a wire wrap bead and I had a little round thing there, and there's my little cap, you know, or here's my ear wire that I would make or something like that. It really allows me to kind of, maybe there's a little flower there, but it allows me to kind of illustrate with a really fine thin line. And then I've got some other pens, some gray. This one's my Le Pen. It's getting a
You
little
know
bit
what's
dried.
nice about this is that you're not cutting up your materials and then going, oh, I don't like it. And there is a process that happens in our brains when you start doing something like this. It gets the endorphins going. It gets the engineer in you going. Is there a question? No?
I just wanted to say that Krista says that she puts all of her ideas in a box, and when she's stuck, she goes to the idea box.
Oh,
It's
it's
a
a
great-
great
yes.
idea.
I used to have, and I do somewhere at home, called a swipe box, and I would just take. I saw something in a magazine. In the old
Right, your
days,
tear
when,
box,
in the
right,
old days when there were magazines, and I used to swipe it out of the magazine and throw it in the box to look at it later. But what I like about what you're doing here, Kate, is that you're allowing your imagination muscles, the muscles
Yeah.
in our brain that go, oh well, you know, like what do I do? I've got a bead like this, you know. What am I going to put with it? I'm going to make an earring. Well,
Right.
let me see if I put
What
opposites
does a circle
together.
look like? Right.
And then
or,
I'm going to put a little bead in between
Right.
it so I give it a little air.
or my
And then,
favorite,
oh,
a
I've
bicone.
yeah. You know, so that without even before you even get to your bead box, or you have your beads in front of you,
Right.
and like Patrice was saying, I have my beads. Then you could go, well, what could I do with that? So there's that. I'm sorry for drawing.
No,
on your paper.
I love
But then,
it.
okay, I could bookend it with 2 rounds, and then I could do, you know, a small bead in between, and then maybe I want to add a little bit of chain to it.
But this really does start to limber
Yes.
you up.
Yes, exactly.
I have one final quote, and then Gracie, I'll take your comment. This is something that I don't know, it came to me, I wrote it down. Learn as much as your brain can hold, as often as your time allows.
That's great.
one of my
Yes.
favorite quotes that I made. That I'm quoting myself.
You're quoting yourself.
So, and I
Excellent.
keep them all in this little, our little
Excellent.
fun little mesh bags. So that my little creativity kit, I've got some rulers and stuff here, but I'm always ready to go.
Melanie
Your little Ziploc.
Yeah.
is asking Janice if you guys could do something where you kind of do a drawing for a bracelet. Could you ask JP if we could have a drawing for bracelets too, pretty please? Maybe she means like a template.
Oh, a template.
Oh,
it's a
sure.
good idea.
I thought it was a
absolutely.
drawing for a
Yeah.
bracelet, then I had to reread it. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
No,
I
it's great.
think that's a great idea. A template for like a wrap bracelet. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Melanie.
Yes.
Just give me a little time, okay? What are we doing now?
So we are going to jump into the
Do you
mechanics.
want to turn this over? No.
No, I don't know. We can.
Maybe, yeah.
I need it. I need it
You
clean.
need it clean?
Yeah.
So let's jump into the mechanics. Now that we've kind of played with design.
Plain one for you.
Great. We played a little bit with design. I want to get down to the nitty-gritty of how we use all of the findings that we've got around the soft flex, the nylon coated beading wire, and how we use this 4-in-1 crimper from Zoran. So think about your cut. First, we're going to take a look at the tool we're going to use. And Janice, you did something that was pretty ingenious that I wanted to share with people.
Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome. So our Zoran 4-in-1, what it is it's a crimping plier that has a place to crimp for all of your different size crimp tubes. And then it has a rounder for your large, medium, and small size crimps. And Janice was having a little trouble. I kind of do my things now more by feel than by seeing anyway. But Janice was like, Kate, tell me which one to use. And I'm all, the middle one, Janice. And she goes, I don't know which one the middle one is. So do you remember that Free Tip Friday a few weeks back when I colored all of those cool charms with that nail polish?
I do.
Yes, JP got the nail polish out.
Oh, wow.
You dotted each little
just
opening.
So that I go, okay, because
so you know which one to go, which one to aim for.
Yeah, and with, if Zuron, if you're still out there, it's a little matte black to really see the openings.
The openings, right?
Yeah.
So you just marked it, and it makes it really, really easy to see.
You could even use like a permanent white pen would work, and it comes off if like I had nail polish like, oh no, the yellow is running. So I just took nail polish remover and cleaned it off and started again.
Yep. Melanie wants to know if we have any plans to stock the universal magic crimper that Sarah used from Softlex.
Yeah, you know, we're crimpers of the old school, and so my preferred way of crimping, I'll tell you honestly, is old school using this crimping plier and the crimp tube.
Right.
But,
we have one of the old crimpers.
Old crimpers.
Yeah. And then they came out with the micro crimper.
Right. It was all these different
now
sizes.
This tool does everything.
Everything all together.
But this is the old one, and we only have one of these left.
No, it's
and then we're not going to. So the answer for Melanie is probably down the road. There's going to be enough people wanting us to do it. But this is the old one.
Yeah, that one has the 2 different sizes.
What is the difference?
This one is for the regular and the large.
Yeah,
correct?
the large. So
but
it only has a couple of indentations, but it doesn't
micro.
do the micro. Yeah.
So there are the crimp beads. You want to take those out first?
Take a look. So,
sorry, are we going to carry the medium weight Softlex?
yes.
Yes.
I will get to that.
On us.
I'll get to that shortly. Yes.
I'm so sorry. A million apologies.
Yes, we have the .014 now, but we're also going to be adding the .019.
I know. I am just an 014 addict, and I go, well, we don't need any other size.
Do you have a spool of Softlex open, or shall I?
Yeah, just open it.
Okay.
Um,
Question, Gracie?
So Ashley is saying she also tells people that they can start from the back with the biggest rounder and move toward the front until you feel it squeeze down. And Debbie agrees. She's an old school crimper too.
Right. Right.
So I have right here the .014, the fine weight Softlex, the original, what they call just the regular satin silver. This is my go-to. Okay, the .014, it's 21 strands of twisted wire underneath the flexible coating, and the diameter, like I said, it's the .014. So if you're doing things like seed beads, things like that, it's the perfect diameter. It's not too heavy. There's also the medium weight. Will you hand me one of those over there, Emily? Thanks.
Also, Kate, you've got a comment on your ring, and you got a comment earlier on your earrings.
Oh, thank you.
Did we get a comment on her necklaces?
My necklaces, I'm going to tell you guys
Emily's
about.
project
Yes.
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, we're going to be doing bead crochet. So our medium weight, the .019, it's 0.48 millimeter, and there's 49 strands of the twisted wire cable underneath this flexible coating. So for the things that Janice and I have made, this is Janice's piece here, it's multiple strand. Here's my piece that I have here, it's one long single strand, and we'll jump into these shortly. But we love the .014 for all of these light beads, for like gemstones, all of those things. I like to bump up to, this one is we don't have this one in stock yet, you guys, but the Softlex comes in a lot of really great colors as well. And you can see kind of the difference in the diameters here, if this is the .014 versus the .019. You can still get the .019, you can still get seed beads on this, no problem. It's a little bit stiffer, the drape is a little bit stiffer, but it also works really well. So we have the 0.014 here, but we'll be adding the 1.9 as well.
It's actually my question.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Is there, so these different size Softlex, is it about the weight, about the bead weight, or is it the diameter of the hole? Is it both?
Yeah, it's both. It's kind of like all of these things. It's about the drape. So if you see here, while I'm holding this up, the single strand, something like this, I want this to be as super supple and as drapey as it can be, because this is just a one long single strand like this, right? If I were making something maybe, and I've made these countless numbers of these with Softlex, that's a little more of a bib or something that's woven, I might want that weight of that 0.019.
Do you want me to go grab one of my treasure necklaces that are on the
Oh, do you have it?
019?
Sure.
Yeah, let me
get
go
it.
get
Oh,
Do you know where it
Emily's got
is? It's the white and Padre one.
Yeah, I think Emily's going for it.
And we actually have a question about the medium Softlex.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce is wondering when we might have an idea of when they'll be in stock, and the other colors too.
Soon. We need to make some decisions about colors and things. Do you guys like colors?
Yes.
Is that a big yes?
Everyone likes colors.
They're great for floats. There's great Softlex colors are really, really beautiful.
But I do want to say you can. Now, everyone may fight me on this, but you could go through life with just 014.
Mm-hmm. Because you have.
Because I have.
That's on 014?
Except for like maybe a Navajo squash blossom necklace, which you might want to go to
flat crimped.
It's flat crimped.
That's
this
how
is
old this
really
is.
old. But this would benefit by being on 019 because these are heavier beads. But
it stays
I
together.
think it's on 014.
Yeah, it sure is.
So
with a flat
why
crimp.
did we only bring in the 014 to start with? Is because
Janice said.
Because
she said, Katie,
you can really pretty much do everything.
Do we have these open, or shall I?
No,
open these
just
up?
And a lot of people are saying love colors a lot.
Colors.
Wait, look here. We have the silver, but
We
we
need
don't
the
have
minis.
that. No,
Yeah.
we don't have the
Okay.
whole one open.
Okay.
But the colors are nice, yes. And then there's also like this really old school one.
Oh, I
which
noticed
would
you were
go
wearing
on
that earlier.
which we would put on the soft touch.
Yeah.
So this is like like wedding floats, and this is actually on something else. Was on like I think Beadalon, but it could be on the soft
touch. Yeah, any thin.
Yeah.
But it's really really pretty. Yeah,
So-
the 0.010.
So we're gonna carry like all of it. We just need.
We're just getting there. We're easing ourselves in.
Ashley agrees. She says, I use the fine 0.014 for like 99% of her pieces.
Yes. Yes.
So let me show you
Thank
guys
you.
about
Thank you for that support out there.
mechanics here of actually crimping this guy.
Yes. Show us how you would do it because I'm
let me
so
tell you.
old school.
Softlex says, in addition to the weight, the abrasion of the beads is also the factor. For example, if you use stones that have rough inside holes, like stones, the extra nylon coating on the medium, and then it cuts off. So sorry, Softlex, they can't read the rest of what your comment is. And Whitney's asking, she's wondering actually why the 0.019 doesn't come in other colors, since it is the most used diameter.
I think.
It's
the
really
019.
the 019 is
I think
the one
it does.
that
Softlex,
comes,
you can answer that too, but I think the 019.
Aren't these all
yeah, those are all
019?
the 019s.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of really beautiful
Yeah.
colors from Softlex.
So these are all 019,
Yeah.
and we're gonna. This is a special at the end of this program,
Yeah,
everybody.
Stay tuned.
We've got a special from Softlex, the giveaway. So,
So I've got
but it does come in
3
colors. So you have the 3 sizes here, right?
sizes. So I want to share with you guys.
Okay. So while you're sharing, I just want to note that in the old days we only used the gold fill and the sterling crimp beads, and the walls and the beads were very consistent.
Correct.
Now there are metal beads like copper or brass, and they're not as consistent, but they work really well.
They do.
So we don't have to spend the money that we used to spend, but in your package, you're going to get
Yeah,
some that are
and
a
I
little
wanted
bit
to
wonky.
point that out, actually. So
And do we have a
they're-
question?
They're migrating.
Melanie wants to know, Janice, if you can share your necklace design online of the one you just showed us. I'm assuming the float.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
show that on
Oh,
the
yes.
Episode
It'll
notes?
be in the
Yes.
episode notes.
Sherry
Absolutely.
says also that what's wonderful about Softlex is that it doesn't kink as much as other do, and she said that's very important.
Yes.
And Softlex says .019 has 25 plus colors, and it's
Yes,
limited.
right.
It's more limited in the .014 and the .024.
Rub it in. Just what I want. I want color, but I
So-
want it in 014. But okay.
But we've got this.
Okay, focus.
Give me right here.
Yes, okay. I'm watching.
All right.
Okay.
So one of the things I also wanted to mention, you guys, when the commenter who just commented about how it doesn't pinch or crimp or stays really straight, the thing about a nylon coated wire jewelry or jewelry stringing material is once it gets a kink, and I'm going to put a deliberate kink in this, okay? Once it gets a kink, it's done for. That kink, you can't straighten that back out, okay? So you really want to be careful. The wire is at its most vulnerable when it's unstrung, right? When you're stringing the beads on. So you want to be really, really careful as you string so that you don't put a permanent kink in this, okay? So that's number one. We really want to be careful about that. There's my cutter. Yeah, question.
Margaret says she seems to break a lot of crimp beads, and we have a friend from Brazil who says she doesn't know how to use these tools and she'd like to learn how to use the flat nose, or she doesn't have access to these tools. I'm assuming the crimper, so she'd like to learn how to use the flat
I'll
nose.
show you how to flat crimp as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you that. So the crimp tubes come in 3 different sizes, and we carry these little packages that have these 3 different sizes in them. We also carry a variety pack that has some different colors in it. So when you get your crimp tubes, like Janice was saying, sometimes you need to cull through your crimps, and one will have like a little extra piece of, will have a little metal flake or something on that. That one you simply toss away, okay, just like I did
Recycle.
there. Recycle, okay. So this one, that's the 3x3, this is the 2mm, and this is the 1mm. I'm going to go with this 2mm right here. And you can see that when I start, I'm just going to do a loop, and we're going to pretend that I have beads on this, and this is at the end of my necklace that I'm doing here. Okay, so I put on my crimp tube. Now, the jury is out with some people on wire guards or wire guardians. I am a fan. Some people not so much. But what I love about this wire guard, and I'll do one side with the wire guard and one without. What I love about the wire guard is it automatically gives me the right amount of slack in my piece so that when I go ahead to close my crimp, I don't make my loop too small. Do we have
You have a clasp.
a clasp?
Yes.
I'll just use my clasp from here.
Here.
Oh, I've got it. Great, yeah. So to make it easier to get that wire guard on, what I'll do is I will put my
You put it
clasp
through the clasp.
first, like that. Okay? Now can you see down the little legs of the wire guard, the little horseshoe there?
Can you show it more towards the camera?
Can you see that there, Gracie?
Here, put it on.
There are 2 little holes like at the bottom legs of that horseshoe. So I'm just going to choose one. My wire goes up through the wire guard, through the clasp. The wire guard is open, and I'll show you. Can you see how the wire guard, the little curve, is actually exposed to the elements there? Okay, so the only little tube are by the feet.
So could I just add, Kate, that we're going to put in episode notes close-ups?
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll put them real good close-up
Yes,
so you guys can see
yes.
them, okay? But this is the thing, you guys. See that? Now I'm coming around, I've gone through the bottom, I've got my crimp tube down here, through the bottom of my wire guard, through my clasp, back down through the last little leg of that guard.
It's like
See
a little
that there?
tunnel.
Yeah.
You're going through
Little
a tunnel,
horseshoe.
then a U-turn, and then another tunnel.
Another tunnel. Now see what I have here? See how it's through? Now, this is where people, I think, stumble. Because see how the legs of the wire guard are really open? What I want to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to really carefully just squeeze those legs closed so that when I come to put my crimp tube up, see how my crimp tube nestles right up next to there, and I'll close it up even just a little bit more. See that there?
Can
So
you
see how it's
that,
nice and
Grace?
tight?
Good.
So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to crimp. Now, the head of the plier.
Wait a second. I'm trying to find you here.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. This is greatly magnified to show detail.
And I have a few questions in a second when you're done explaining so I can find them.
Okay. And then I've got this, and I've got this, and
You
I've
can
got
come over
this.
onto my paper.
Okay, that's all.
So
okay.
this is...
So this is the little, there's a place on the back of your plier. This is the head of the tool right here.
Oh, look at that.
There's
Okay.
a place on, I've done this a couple of times.
I can see this isn't your first rodeo.
There's first, see where Janice put this little yellow dot? That's what I call the smusher, or the crimper, the actual crimper. And this one actually is shaped a little more like a diamond here, not like an oval.
And then
Okay.
this is like, this
The little
goes...
top of the lips. So when your crimp tube comes in, you're going to bring that crimp tube right in here. That little top tooth is going to come down, and you're going to get a crimp tube that looks like, this is going to be the side view. You're going to have a little crimp tube that's flattened down the center.
So this
Okay.
really goes like this, right?
Yeah, it's that little, it's a
It's-
little
It
tooth.
folds.
Yeah. Okay. So that little tooth comes down and folds things. Okay. Then, so I'm going to do that part now.
We have a question, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I actually ask these questions before we
Sure.
get more? And
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
find them.
Do it.
So Ginger, she asks the opinion of wire guard versus French wire.
Okay.
Sandy says, is there a rule of thumb to know between which tubes go with each soft leg size?
Yes.
Whitney says it seems to her it would make more sense to thread your soft legs through the wire guard and then attach it to the clasp.
You can. I do
Um,
that too sometimes.
Tilly wants to know how you get rid of the rough edges on a wire guard after you finish with your project. Seems to happen a lot. Excuse me a second. There's so many questions right now. Kim wants to know if we can get a close-up in the episode notes of Janice's dots on the pliers.
Yes.
And I
It's going to be
think
50 episode notes
I
for you,
know,
Parsons.
I know. I better leave now.
that's
and start on them.
those are all the questions we have right now. It's just that so many people are asking questions, so I really
These are
hope to
great
get
questions.
to everyone's
Yes.
questions.
So I'm going to do those all in turn. So I'm going to crimp this closed, and then I'm going to backtrack.
Cool.
Okay?
So could I just draw for everyone out there, when you do this, what you're doing is it's basically, it's like this. This little indentation, this is pushing down, this is pushing up, and you're like
You're folding.
folding a blanket.
Yeah. So watch what I'm doing.
Okay.
So stick with me here. So what I've got is my crimp tube, my two legs of my soft flex are underneath that crimp tube, and I've come in and I've squeezed those little legs of the wire guard closed. Now I let gravity do its thing. See how the clasp, it's not up here, I'm fumbling with it. See how it's down towards the ground so it's out of my way? Now I just get that crimp tube and it nestles in there, okay? I can feel that it nestles, okay? And then I'm gonna come in and I hold it with the tooth, and then you guys, I spread the
Cool.
soft flex so that when it's crimping, one leg of the soft flex is gonna sit in each little side as I crimp. See that there?
Mm-hmm.
So now, what I also want to check, this is really important, I look to make sure that there's no crimp tube coming out on this side or this side of the tool, that the crimp tube is completely covered. If it's not, I'll get a little partial crimp, like part of this won't be crimped.
So we don't see all this drawing under what you're doing.
Part of this won't be crimped, and when I go in to fold it, it'll pop open rather than close. So if you have that issue with your crimp tubes coming open as you fold them, it means it hasn't been folded all the way across.
I think you might, just 1 second, to answer the question about why the wire guardian might be sharp, is it because when you're doing this first fold that you're maybe flattening a little bit of the wire guardian,
exactly
and that's making the sharp
You
metal?
either do it there, or when you fold
Right.
it, you hit the wire guard,
Right.
you nick it,
Right.
and that's treacherous.
Right.
Yeah.
Treacherous. Wow.
Treacherous.
Good
Yes,
word.
Gracie.
The variety pack of crimps, do they come, what sizes do they come in?
I'm going to get to that
Okay.
in 1 second. Hold that thought because I want to
Well,
do
Geeta's
sizes.
already answered her.
Oh, good one. So now, you guys, this is the thing. There are two really important steps to crimping. First is creating like what I call a little taco. We've made a little taco right out of this crimp tube. Now what I do is I hold my crimping plier up so that the heads are pointing towards the sky. You see that? And the little taco, my little crimp bead, I'm looking down on it as well. Now I come in, I'm going to turn this to you, Grace. I'm going to grip it and then I'll turn it to you so you guys can see it. This size, the 2 millimeter, wants to sit in the middle of the 3 rounders, or the one that Janice made it. She made it pink. I'm going to get it up close so I can see it, so it's right, and then I'm going to show it to you.
So where
I'm
the
gonna do it
green
the other
dot
way.
is for the
The
3
millimeter, that's
then
right.
the pink dot is for
It's the 2.
2, and then
The yellow dot is for
the
the
next
1.
yellow.
Mhm.
Okay.
So can you see that, Grace? Can you see that how the crimp tube is nice and flat? And if I were looking down through the head of this plier, I can see that little valley in my little crimp tube that I crimped down earlier. Now, we want to be really, really careful and deliberate as we crimp. We want to check to make sure just that I'm not nicking my wire guard on this side, which I'm not. There's no crimp tube falling out of the other side of my plier. Everything is straight across. Let me make sure it is straight across. There we go.
You can kind of feel it when it's
when it's right.
It's just sitting there like, ah.
Now I'm going to come in
And
I squeeze. Okay? And now, just from that one squeeze, you can see it's almost closed.
Can you move it? There's soft flex behind it. Yeah.
It's almost closed. So I'll give it one more little squeeze, especially if your hands don't work as well as they used to. I really like these dots, Janice. I know
Thank you.
exactly which one to aim for. I'm just going to give it one more little squeeze. Now, what I love about this Xuron 4-in-1 is I can bring it up to the kind of needle nose part of the chain nose part of this plier and give it just a little hug. Little hug. Hey, little hug. Little hug. So now you can see, Grace, if you can get, you can see there. See how that's perfectly closed, okay? And you can see how one piece of soft flex is coming out one end and one is coming out the other. And you can also see there's a little bit of air in between where that wire guard is and where that crimp tube is. And that's really essential for the crimp cover. Question.
Okay. Let me find these questions. Well, TT asks if we're live now. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Softlex says keeping wires parallel, not crisscrossing, is important for a clean, secure crimp.
Yes.
Spreading the wires like you did is a great tip. Patrice wants to know, if you don't crimp it correctly, what do you do? And Joanne says that the crimp part looks like the lips and the next part is round, so it's a kiss and a hug. I heard someone say that, so that's how she remembers.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
So what I do is, for this, if I have this, if I've crimped and I've messed up, let's address that one. On the first side, when I crimp, I usually string, like with this one that I'm working on here, I always string with a lot of extra end.
Absolutely.
For
Here.
yes, for just that reason. If I screw up the first time, I can just slide everything down and recrimp. It's the second side where you really need to make sure that you're right on track, but I'll show you how to get that perfectly right. Okay, so just cut it off and try it again.
Okay.
If you can't do that, you really do, you have to restring.
Well, you can
You're gonna
do,
put down a fresh thing?
yeah, and
Yeah.
you can do that thing you do where you could take a section of it off so that you have a couple of inches. You could add like your crimp with a new piece, which we're gonna do on mine, and then you could put a bead with a bigger hole, cover it up, and then
keep going.
Yeah.
Can I ask? I'm sorry. Yasmin wants to know where we find the wire guard, and Art wants to know if there are any tips from keeping the magnetic clasp from sticking to the tool.
Or sticking to the soft
Yeah,
flex.
yeah. It's the magnetic clasps. That one is always
Yeah.
kind of a little bit
Tough.
Yeah, that's why I use with soft flex. I use toggles pretty much all the time.
And sorry, real quick, Eileen
Yeah.
wants to know if she can order the crimp tool and still only pay $10 to UK.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so. I think for tool, yeah, I think it, and we can double check that for you because the crimp tool is pretty light, so I think it should be fine.
Yes.
It's the hammer and bench block that we
Yeah.
have that's a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
So let me show you guys how I cut my soft flex away. Okay, I get my Xuron. Now, you guys, your crimp tube is either closed or it's open. If it's closed, it's going to hold. If it's open, it's going to fall apart, right?
Now, do you check? Do you pull on the wires
I
to
do,
make sure?
but I
that-
know that this is. I
Okay.
can see it.
Okay.
So what I do, some people say, oh, I'm going to feed this back through a few beads and that'll help it be stronger. No.
No.
Just feeding it back through beads is just going to be irritating. This piece of soft flex is going to come out and it's going to rub your neck and you're going to end up cutting it off anyway. So what I do is I get my, see here, so I'm holding the end of my soft flex with my chain nose. I'm pushing my Xuron, my maxi shear up against it, and I'm going to clip. And what that does, and I'm going to show you, Grace, what that does is it gets me, there's no burr. That's it. Okay?
Yeah.
So now what I do is I come in and I get my crimp cover. Now you don't have to have a crimp cover. Let's say, I'm going to lop off a little bit of this. Let's say that this is, maybe you put your clasp on first and now you're going to start to string. Maybe you could use, I don't know, I'll just use this.
Yeah.
I could, especially if these were multiple strands, you guys, I could just hide this whole thing with a bead that has a large hole. This might be a little bit large.
Well, guess what's
But I
going to
could.
happen with that, though? That won't work. Why won't that work?
Well, on the other side, when I go to crimp it, this will be loose.
No, that's not the reason.
What?
Because with a toggle, this bar has
Smarty
to go
pants.
sideways to fit into the loop.
Mrs.
And if
Smarty
you
Pants.
put a big bead right up against that,
Right.
it can't go all the way sideways, and you
Right,
can't
see
get
that?
it into the toggle. So here's
Always thinking, Parsons.
there's the toggle. Can you get
See that?
You can't get it through.
Denied.
Denied. No access.
Denied.
So you do with the
So
toggle.
I'm going to
you
use my
have
crimp
to,
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need something that's smaller. But if I did have a bead
But you
that
could,
was a
you
small
could-
hole,
if you
that
put
won't
like
fit.
that, no,
Yeah,
but
over it,
you
but-
no, it won't fit over it. but it's a similar color.
Right. So if I did
and
something
it visually
like this,
won't be
was
as
visually
noticeable.
appealing.
Yes, you could
So
put.
let's do this.
Yeah.
Yes. Trudy wants to know if the Softflex challenge from Facebook Live has been moved to YouTube yet. And I have a few other questions.
The Softflex challenge, that was not on our page. It was on Softflex Facebook page. So if you go to the Softflex Facebook page, they also archive theirs on their YouTube channel as well. So I'm sure you can see both of it there. Softflex, if you're out there and want to post a link in the comments, feel free to do so.
And we'll do that in the episode notes.
So let me show you. So see, you could, without the crimp cover, like Janice was saying, if you just kind of have a pleasing little line of beads that are going up towards the crimp, then it's fine. But let me show you how to use this cover.
Yeah.
Can I just say, so we were talking about the magnetic clasp earlier, and Karen says she puts magnetic clasps together and that helps from the sticking problem.
Oh, sure. Smart.
I think Drea posted this one. She usually tapes the clasp up. Just a few wraps of Scotch tape, no more sticking to the tools.
Smart.
And, let me see, there was one more. Susie says for magnetic clasps, she lays a pair of metal pliers on her work surface and allows the magnet to cling to the pliers to hold the magnet out of her way.
Oh, that's also smart. We've got a smart group.
I know.
I'm going to try actually all of those.
We just go, oh, don't bother.
Oh, yeah, don't bother. We're so old school. We're all, just use a toggle.
Oh,
so see
hi,
what
everyone.
I did. Hey, everybody. So see what I did here with, here's the crimp cover.
Yeah.
And I put it in the rounder, the 2mm rounder of my tool, or the 3mm rounder actually of my tool. And see how the little opening of that crimp cover is pointing up towards the sky.
And you see my head going like this. This is for
I just come in.
This is the challenge: is getting that crimp bead in that cover. I just
come in.
Yeah.
And I just lay that crimp tube right in.
Yeah.
And then, whoops, I need to get a little closer to my eyes. Sorry, you guys. But I lay that right in there.
I just find doing it by touch and by hand.
Sorry, I'm fumbling because I can't see.
This is what I was finding, is that using that tool, using the 4-in-1 for this, was not as easy for me with my old hands and old eyes than just doing it like you're doing it now, which is by hand.
By hand, which you can also do. But you can see, let me put it back, like through the magic of television. See, if this weren't a live show, we would have edited that part out. So I just come in and I'm folding that crimp cover really gently with that little 3mm section of the tool. And then I continue, I turn it and round it. Round it. Sorry, I've got to get a little bit closer to me so I can see. Janice always hollers for, when it gets warm in here, she hollers for air. I'm hollering for light. Light!
For light. Oh.
There we go. But I'll show you guys this. Let me just round it. As the motion is, I'm just rounding the crimp cover right around, and I squeeze the tool as I round it.
It's a very
Gentle
comfortable
touch.
handle.
Yeah. There we go. So you can see I've got my crimp cover on there, and you can see here I've closed it so the little seam, and I can also give it a little hug right there so that little seam is closed. Okay. So now,
stringing the necklace takes about maybe an hour. Doing the crimps takes about 5 hours.
Oh,
per
you
crimp.
guys, I will tell you that so this is my, no, seriously.
Yeah.
This is my rule of thumb.
Yeah.
I never close a necklace on the same day I string it.
When were you going to tell us this?
Now, when you ask.
Okay. And why is that?
I was getting there.
Why?
Because it is true. I string and freely design and string it up and, whoop it up and, I don't know, have a glass of wine and swing from the rafters, all while making this necklace. But then when it comes down to putting the clasp on, you really have to be focused, right? So I wait. Yeah, Grace.
Oops. So Robin says, speaking of light, which lighting do you prefer? And I have a question about the crimp. What if you forget to put the cover on? Can you do it after you've strung?
You can.
Sure.
You can. Your crimp can go on anytime. What kind of light do I prefer? You know, I like daylight. I like going like by a window. I like an alt light and stuff too. I just like light that's really focused. I actually have a pair of Craft Optics glasses that I really love. That has a beam on them that I use sometimes. But let me show you guys the second half, because this is the kicker, okay? I'm going to need a loop. A second, Janice, will you grab a second one? Because this is where, and I know that a lot of you, this is sometimes a drawback, or at least I see my students a drawback with using the nylon coated wire beading cable. That when you crimp it, when it's closed, it's too tight. So I want to share with you kind of my no-fail to do this. And this, I've just strung up a few beads. It's not a masterpiece of design, so just bear with me here. But I just want to show you.
Really quick, Sarah says that's what bead stoppers are for. And Melanie asks when we will stock bead stoppers.
I don't know if I know what bead stoppers are, actually.
I know what they are.
What are they, Emily?
Lamps?
They're the best.
Are they?
Well, we better get them. What
do they do?
I have to tell you, when bead stoppers first came out, I was a little skeptical.
Right.
And I had this moment of, God, one more thing that I have to have.
Right.
And then I tried them.
Right.
And they are the best. They're a little spring that you can open and grasp the end of any thread. So elastic, soft flex, nylon thread, any thread you're working with, so that your beads do not come off the ends.
Oh.
And you can have multiple threads in each one.
Wow.
They're really good.
Great.
Yeah.
Because the way we did it old school was, if I were going to move this around, and you see Janice and I both have them, we use Scotch tape or cellophane tape on our ends, but they really have to be super
Well, for something like this, which is a multiple,
see how much tape?
I do, each one has its own tape.
Yeah.
I don't pick it up off the table until it has the tape on it.
Right, because as we all know,
slip out of your
the
hand.
bead's natural habitat is the floor.
Yeah.
But when I go ahead to remove that tape, I just let the soft flex very carefully rip the side of my tape so I don't mangle the soft flex, and that's how I do it. But these newfangled bead stoppers, we might have to look into that.
Sarah is sending us some.
Thank you, Sarah.
Let me see. There were some other questions.
So I'm going to put, while you're looking for those, Gracie, I'm going to talk through this. For the second side, I've got my crimp tube. This time I'll put the wire guard on, and then I'll put the clasp on, just so you guys could see a different way of doing it. I go through one leg, back down, I know it's there somewhere. Then before this piece of soft flex goes through the crimp, I put my clasp on. I can, with just my fingers, also squeeze that little wire guard so it's closed. The little legs are closer. And now, this is the, do you have any questions, Grace, before I go into this?
Oh no, they were asking where they could buy bead stoppers, and someone said Michael's.
Yeah, and soon here. I guess.
Here.
Ooh, Emily, you have a bead stopper. Emily, it's like the let's make a deal. What's in your bag? So you were saying it just. All right. Well, more to come on these guys.
Yes.
Emily, it's like your magic.
I know.
So this is the thing, you guys. If you learned anything today, this is the takeaway for really well strung pieces on soft flex. I want you to notice a couple of things. How I've set up my necklace. Let me move this over so it's nice and clear. On this side, where I've done my wire guard and everything, see how there's no air, there's no slack, everything is all tightened up. I don't have any room like this. I just swing everything around so it's tight, okay? Not overly tight, just no space. Now, notice where my crimp tube is that I've put on. See how my crimp tube is all the way down by my beads over here? All of the slack is up here. So watch what I do. I don't want to push my crimp tube all the way up here and have it locked down and then try and pull this slack out, because that crimp tube just locks my soft flex in place up here. So what I do is I pull the slack through till I get down to where the crimp tube is. I put my crimp tube through. This is why I don't crimp on the same day that I string, because you really have to be focused. Finger on the clasp, slack in the loop, no space on this side. All I do is I pull, pull, pull. See how that walks up? Now I have both of my clasps. Even if this weren't a toggle, I'd try and have my clasp closed. I could close it now even. So see, so it's a complete circle. Then I can double check and I can feel like this is a tiny little round circle. I want to make sure that I have enough movement in here. That's one of the drawbacks that I find when newbies are stringing with soft flex is they pull it so tight, and this is wire, and you pull it tight and straight in a line. And if I were going to go ahead and pull this tight and straight in a line, it would be really hard for me to close it up, right? It would pop. So make sure that you're crimping what I call in the round. Now, I automatically know that I pulled my soft flex. I automatically do this. I've pulled it to the side so that I know my soft flex is laying side by side. Now I get my plier, and with the courage of my convictions, I bring that crimp tube to the little crimper. I check everything to make sure that I've got just a tiniest little whisper of slack there. I'm going to come in, I crimp, making sure I get the whole crimp and not the wire guard. I turn my plier so the heads are pointing towards the sky. I can see that little taco fold down there. I give it a little hug and another hug with the heads of my tool. And can you see here, I've got a perfectly crimped crimp tube. Now, again, with my cutter, sorry, GP, I'll come in, pull on this soft flex, pull on it like you mean it, and clip it away. Then I'll cover it with my crimp cover, and feel how supple that is, good. Even if it's super small. Now,
that's great.
I want to show you, if I were to unclasp this, you guys, and I would push the soft flex down.
Can you lay it down?
Yep, sorry.
It's okay.
I'd push this down. I've got just the tiniest bit of slack there, but that slack disappears
when you wear it.
When you wear it. So that has to be there.
We don't walk around with our jewelry going, oh, here's my necklace.
Right? It's, in the
we
round.
don't. While you're at this, I just want to point out one place after years and years of restringing things on wire, stringing wire. There is one place where it always breaks.
Yes.
Besides that clasp, the one place it always breaks, if you, let's say you have a pendant, the one place it always breaks is right here. This is the one place because when you're doing it and you put the pendant on, the wire goes at sort of like an angle here. And this is
it rubs.
The way to have it so it doesn't, it doesn't break there.
I was putting,
all you have to do is add a few small beads,
some seed beads,
so that your soft flex or your stringing wire can make a turn. So it's not going like this, but it's going like this. And or if you're doing a necklace and you have a bugle bead or a straight across bead, not this, forget that, and then you're going up like this, it's going to break right there.
So have a little transition
bead. A couple of little beads, it'll go at a corner instead of a straight edge. Yeah.
A few things. Donna says soft flex has a magical crimping tool which works well, forms the crimp into a headline shape. And a few people said, oh yes, Sarah used them. And then Ginger said she's always used a jump ring between the clasp and the guard wire.
You could, sure.
Let me see here.
As long as you close them really well, because they like to open.
Robin gives us props. She says she loves Bead Shop. She loves being so close. She gets her orders in like 2 days.
That's nice.
And everyone's saying same here. Let me see.
you.
Best tip of the day for finishing with a crimp. That's from Susan.
Thanks, Susan.
Let me see. Oh, and Patrice just got her shipment and the giveaway of chips from last week. She loves
good.
them.
Yay.
Oh, good.
Sarah says a thicker diameter of wire may help too. Also, storing in a circle rather than folding in half helps sometimes too. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to address the different sizes of the crimp tubes here.
Okay.
This is the 3x3. So let's say, and we've got more shows on this, you guys. So we're going to address like multiple strands and all kinds of stuff like that. But I check, like let's say that I were doing a multiple strand piece and maybe I was doing 2 strands and I wanted them to be in one crimp tube. Using a larger, this 3x3 crimp tube is a good way to do it. I'm going to try and unmuddle this. There we go.
Especially if you're using the heavier, the 019 or
019,
the 024.
yeah.
You really do need that
Larger crimp.
larger one, yeah.
And you could see I would make sure that these were even, but I would grab my crimping plier and I just simply crimp it in the same way. There's that 3x3. I'd spread the legs of the stringing wire and I would come down and you can see how they are in their own little channels.
I'm just
Okay.
Yeah. I call
And
it a
then-
hammock.
And then
It
we
makes a hammock.
little hammock, and then I
Yeah.
turn it and I
Yeah.
crimp it closed. So the 1x1s, the smaller guys, with soft touch, they work really well. But you could also,
Where you want to show the soft touch while
wait.
we're
I just have to give a shout out. Whoopsies. Robin says
We're
shout
okay.
out to the shipping department and packaging.
Oh,
great. Well, we'll let them
yay.
know.
I'll just do this here real quick. This is our soft touch, our soft flex 0.014. Those 1x1s also work, I think, with those. I can't see it though.
The 1x1 or 1x5?
Yeah.
This is a one. Isn't this little one a 1x5?
Is it? I always call it a 1x1, a 1 millimeter.
It's.
Maybe it is.
I think isn't it a 1.5, then a 2, and then a 3?
Could be.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
But see that, so if you want, or if you're doing little floats, Emily and I
Right.
have a float show coming up. But then I put this in the one that's all the way up here. So it really, I like having a variety pack of my
yeah.
crimps, because then I can really see, where's the other one that I crimped? Here it is. That's the real big one there. Then I can really kind of tailor my crimp to what it is that I'm doing.
You know what we can do is we'll do one with the
With the
middle
2
size,
yeah, and we'll put
then
it
we'll put it in
in the
episode notes.
So I wanted to, in the time we have left, we need to look at our necklaces. I know that was a lot of the mechanics, but I really wanted you guys to see kind of the care that I put into the actual crimping. So let's take a look. Janice and I, when
with a
we
clean piece.
were working on these pieces,
Should we move this?
yeah, I'm just moving this.
And thank you to everyone who keeps sharing our videos, and everyone's having side conversations right now about hi to Ivan and to the way that our packages are wrapped are like little presents, and they like their stickers.
Are you guys hearing this? Yeah.
She's doing a
Really good job. And
Oh,
Grace
thanks.
is doing an amazing job on filming. This has been, I told you guys it was going to be an epic broadcast. Well, you know, I'll say it right here and right now. We are a pretty tight team here at Bead Shop. And
Yes.
no person is an island here. And so we really, we all succeed all together.
Just
Yeah,
a few
Gracie,
more
Gracie,
nice things
yeah.
because they are very nice.
Do it, Gracie.
Melanie says she sent an email to you guys about future plans for a monthly
You did.
Bead subscription, how fun that would be.
It would be fun.
Yes.
someone else says, can't help but know that bead shop staff love their jobs and the look of the packaging. Sorry, it's hard to read right now. Janice, you and the whole staff have been very helpful and nice, and some other people
love you
are.
all. This is like old. It's like
It's a nice birthday gift for you,
and
huh?
I really don't feel far away from everyone. I feel like everyone out there is here with us.
Yeah.
Kim says, shout out to Jen and Cara for the personal notes from the Packers.
Oh, yes.
Oh, personal notes from the Packers.
Yes.
Yay.
The whole thing's it's an amazing experience.
Amazing.
Sandy says, such a great show. Hi, Janice.
Is that
And
my Sandy?
I think
My
so.
Palo Alto Sandy? Hi, Sandy.
And Patrice says, love everything about Bead Shop.
Oh, thanks.
Everyone's
Patrice.
saying love, love, love.
Oh.
Everyone's just like, so much love coming right now.
I love it. I can feel it. Ow.
Yep.
All this love. Let's take a little bit a look at these designs. Oh,
A quick shout out.
shout out. A Nemo shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's what
Nemo.
that was.
Hi, Eli. Is Eli there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hi, Bunny. I love you. Nemo and I, we're saying hi. This is to my grandson, my very special person.
Susie
Yes.
says, can we convince Janice to stay?
Oh, she's not.
no,
don't worry, you guys.
Nope,
she's not
I
going
got
far.
him. I'm moving to Virginia in
but
3 weeks.
we've got Facebook plans.
There's
for
so
her,
much stuff
don't
going
worry.
on, so I'm just going to quickly wrap up because I know we have to get this show on the road.
Yeah.
But Linda says she told her sister about the bead retreat, and she offered to pay for her airfare.
Wow.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, so many people are.
We love it.
Oh my gosh, let me just say it all at the end, okay?
Yeah, and you guys don't worry. We
Relax.
always go back through and read the comments, and I try and answer them. So don't. But we do read and answer, or read and feel the love from you guys.
Oh,
So
go ahead. You can say
Yeah.
that.
This is a little note from Eli. Laughed and said, "Oh, you guys."
Aw. Hi guys.
Hi, guys.
So let's compare and contrast what Janice and I made, and in kind of the last kind of ending that we want to kind of bring this all to a close, but we really do want to talk a little bit about kind of the actual projects that we did. So what Janice did was she pulled 2 pellets to string on soft flex, and she handed one to me and said, "Kate, go string."
Yeah.
And she said, "I'm taking mine home and I'm going to go string." So what I did was I put my beads in our little bead container here.
Little storage.
And our little storage. And so this is really how I string, what I do. And something, I know that achieving random, you guys, because you can see mine is a kind of a random pattern. You can see that Janice's is symmetrical here. I find that achieving random can sometimes be daunting when you're stringing. And so I wanted to just give you a kind of a quick, just show you very quickly how I deal with this. Because,
So I have an idea.
What's your idea?
And what does everyone else think about this? What if next week we
We do part
continued with
2?
this and we show how to do the multiple closing and the patterning, and we don't try to rush this?
I think that's a great idea. That was floating around in my head as well.
Does everyone kind of like that idea that this is part 1 of soft flex,
And
next,
then we'll go to.
'cause I really feel
You
like
have a lot
this,
to share.
this is a whole hour on how to do this patterning if you want to do it, how to do
How to do that.
this,
And
how
I
to
want to show
multiple closing,
how to string
how to
random.
do
Yeah.
the right necklace
Yeah.
length. I just feel like it really
They all
deserves.
say it's a good idea.
Everyone?
They do.
Is everybody in?
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Um,
So next week we will continue with part 2.
Yeah,
We'll just
let's
move.
do-
Yeah,
yes,
we're going to rearrange our
yes.
schedule.
John
Easy.
is saying hi to you. He says, love the show.
Oh, thank you. I bet that's my brother.
Yeah,
that's
he
on
said,
there.
shout out to my sister
Hello.
Kate.
Oh.
And just really quick again about packaging, because this one's a really special note. It says, love the notes and the check marks next to each item so
Oh.
that she knows it's personally checked. And she says, I don't know how you do it, y'all.
No, we don't know how we do it, y'all.
We
either.
don't know any other way of doing it.
That's
though.
right,
That's
that's
the
true.
thing.
Everyone's saying yes, please, to your idea.
Great. Okay. So
So
we
what we'll
can,
do,
we'll
we'll
this'll
put these,
be-
we'll simmer
yes.
them. So I need to put,
Yes.
Emily, where's that bead stopper? Hand me your bead stopper.
Yes.
I'm going to bead stop this sucker.
Okay.
Look at what
Yeah.
I'm doing. I'm going to bead stop it up here.
Okay.
I'm bead stopping. There we go.
There you go.
Maybe I'll bead stop it
Right
here.
there.
I don't know. This is so. Look,
There
it's
you
not
go.
going anywhere.
Okay, so we're going to do designing with soft
Yeah.
wax next week.
Let's do it
Yes.
because there's so much to design with.
I think there's a lot more to do. Okay.
So in the meantime, you guys, then we'll give you some homework maybe and some tips. What you can do if you would like between now and next week, if you go to our Facebook Live page that's on our website, you just go right to beadshop.com, Facebook Live. This episode is Softflex 101. There is a download that says download your sketch a necklace. If you do any sketching or designing over the week, we'd love to see it.
Yep.
And we'll share it next week.
Yes.
Okay.
The first 50.
Right. We would love to see it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we encourage you, just take some markers, take your kids' crayons, anything.
Anything.
And sketch some stuff, and then next week we'll talk
About that, and we'll talk
yeah.
about the mechanics of these.
Yes, and designing
Yeah.
and all that.
Kim says maybe next week you'll have the bead stoppers too.
Maybe we will. Maybe
Um,
at least on order.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else. Keep talking. I'm gonna interrupt you guys.
We have a couple. You wanted to, before we did that, I know you wanted to let everybody know about our leather.
Oh, I just wanted to say that we got more.
We hustled. We know how
yeah.
much you guys love this.
We ran out of this wonderful leather for this prairie project, and we wanted to let you know that it's back in, and that's all I wanted to say about
it's
that.
It's in. And I also wanted to give a shout out before we wrap up. This is going to be Emily's
Yes.
debut project
Oh,
on Facebook Live. You guys asked for bead crochet, and she delivered. We have one more really great, beautiful colorway, but this is coming up at the end of May. But this is going to be our beginning bead crochet. And Emily, I am so excited. I cannot
Yeah.
wait to do this with you on Facebook Live. It's really going to be fun.
really, really fun.
Beautiful.
Let me see. I don't know what Geeta said. She said jungle in all caps with question marks. Lorraine says, I think you guys should have 2 days a week of Facebook Live. And Whitney says they do. Wednesdays and Fridays.
Fridays, we do. We've got a free tip Friday.
And this Friday, what are we doing? We're going to do perfect
I
measuring
almost forgot.
length.
Yes.
Perfect measuring length.
We
How to
are.
measure a necklace.
Yeah, so Janice
Yes.
has when we used to teach kind of our crazy tricks of the trade class, big color class, big necklace class, Janice would do this whole thing about how to measure. So we're going to do that on Free Tip Friday this Friday. Janice and I are going to show
Measure
you, how to measure and how to measure
Yeah.
for different lengths.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be Friday. It's at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time.
And I just wanted to say for the sketch a necklace, it has the 2 and it has the 1. So you can...
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
has
with
two.
both. Yeah.
You can download and print out either the little guy or little gal or the
bigger one.
Yeah. You can name them. You can give them curly hair if you want. Do we
So-
have the things about the notes? Because we didn't even go over the accordion.
Oh my gosh!
We
Yeah,
have so
next
much
week.
to do. We
Yeah.
have another
what
week
were
of
we
this.
thinking that this would only take one
I don't
week?
know. I don't
What
know.
were we thinking?
I don't know.
So we do want to wrap up, and next week we will continue this Softflex Odyssey
Yes.
with our Zoran crimpers and show you how to crimp and close, and we'll show you what this thing is.
Yes.
And all kinds of cool stuff. But we've got a couple of things since it's Janice's birthday week.
Yes, everybody. Happy birthday.
Yes.
To me and
Happy
all the
birthday,
other May babies. Yes.
So we have a great giveaway today, and we also have an extra giveaway. So our regular giveaway is
A little bead
a little
sampler.
bead sampler that Jen put together along with help from Grace, and everybody in the filling room kind of got
Favorite
together.
beads of mine.
Yeah, and did favorite beads of
Let's
Janice's.
just take this top
Let's just
off.
take it off.
So,
So your bead giveaway, the giveaway is this little bead sampler to kind of get you started with some favorite greens and
greens,
blues.
greens, greens.
And they're going to be, all will be kind of slightly different, all very beautiful. And so it's now about noon on the 5th of May, 2017.
Today's the 5th, not the 5th.
I'm sorry, the 10th of May, I'm looking at it.
The 10th of May.
10th
Because my birthday's in 2
In
days.
2 days. You
Yeah.
didn't miss your birthday.
No.
Today is May 10th,
Right.
2017. if you make your order between now and 1 p.m. Pacific time, and just write in your order notes the little box that says, would you like to tell us something special, as you check out, you write JP's Beads, and we'll add your little giveaway.
Yeah.
As you guys also know, if you've been getting your newsletters, in celebration of Janice's birthday week, we've got a 20% off store-wide going on all week. So all
nice.
You need, it is.
Yeah,
It was
I like,
nice of you.
I like celebrating
Yeah.
with everybody.
So it ends on Sunday, the 16th, and you add Janice20 in your discount code box, and we'll knock off 20%.
Might be the
16th
14th. I'm
is-
sorry.
No, 16th is Monday, isn't it? 12th is...
12 is Friday. 13, 14th. It's the 14th.
14th. I'm just going to fix this. Gracie.
We're so busy designing and stringing.
Designing.
We're not known for our math, right?
Or being
So
able
it
to spell
So
prairie.
it ends on Sunday, and
It
it's
does.
Janice20. Just put Janice20 in the coupon code.
There we
and
go. Look how I
we'll
fixed
get
it.
20%
Right,
off.
right. Or just email us.
Yeah.
Right? That was
Yeah.
great. Gracie,
Yeah.
that was all Grace.
Yeah.
Throw Grace under the bus. No, just kidding. And then we've got one more thing.
One more special.
This is why we're so excited. So Sarah over at Softlex sent us this great little package, and we looked at it, we looked at the
Love
book, we oohed and awed, and we thought, we better share this.
Yeah.
So one order, this is the book that Sarah wrote, Sarah Oler from Softlex, Sarah and Jamie Hodgett wrote this book, and it's all about using colored Softlex. So in between now, all orders that are made now, between now and 1 o'clock, that have that JP's Beads in the notes, will also choose one of those orders randomly, very randomly, and we'll send you out her book. And there's 2, 4, 6
little spools of the
of the
019
colors.
in color.
Yeah.
So someone out there is going to get this today.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
It's really cool.
Now I just wanted in 014 in all these colors.
You always want one more
I know
thing.
one more thing
It's
in
true.
color. But
So are we good?
Yeah.
Do we know what we're doing?
yep.
Are you exhausted?
No, I'm energized. I want to go string.
I
I
am
want to
always
sketch and string
and create.
Yeah. No,
Look
I'm
at
not
the
tired.
beginning. At the beginning, it looks so beautiful, like a Thanksgiving table, and now it looks like
It's the way it's
a
supposed to
real
look.
designer table,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah, it's the way
Okay.
it's supposed to look, Katie.
Well, happy birthday week to you.
Thank you, and happy Mother's Day to
Happy
everyone.
Mother's Day to everyone.
Sarah
Yes.
says, can't wait to see you next week. And
Yes.
congrats to the winner.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for
Yes.
being so generous of sending that over.
Yes.
We also wanted to mention, don't forget Friday, that free tip Friday. Janice and I are going to be measuring for necklace lengths. Next Wednesday, we'll continue our journey with Softlex and design. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always email me. My little email thing is around here somewhere, but it's Kate. I think it's down there maybe. Kate at
here.
beadshop.com.
Oh, here you go.
There we
There
are.
we go.
You can always email us if you have any questions. And if you do download that sketch a necklace and draw something, we'd love to see it so we can share it next week.
And we're excited about the retreat sign-ups.
Yeah, retreat sign up. We'll
Yep.
be sending out that email.
Episode notes.
Episode
will be
notes.
ready Monday. Monday's a big day.
Yeah, Monday's a big day.
Yeah.
So cheers to you. Have
Yeah.
a great Wednesday. Thanks for joining
Bye,
us
everyone.
at beadshop.com. We'll see you soon.